Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. The best of 5 finals of a Red Bull Invitational. We have 2 of the best players in the world right now. One who has proven himself time and time again. And then another who, is this finally his year? Well, let me first. In the bottom right, it is Serral. And his counterpart is Clem. So, here's what we're going to be doing for this. I like this. This is the best way, in my opinion, to learn. First person. We're going to be watching the camera and the selections and the movement of each player individually. I'll probably switch off between games, though occasionally, depending on what's happening. I'll switch off during the game. And thankfully it's not a mirror matchup, so it should be pretty clear who we're watching. But this means we're seeing through the eyes of Serral and through Clem. And we're just desperately, myself included, going to try to keep up. I say this is the best way to learn because you can see, like, did he see that drop? Like, did he see that tech or whatever? Even if technically it was in vision, sometimes players do miss certain things or see certain things that you wouldn't see on a normal cast. Like, for example, that Overlord pattern that Serral just set up in about 0.2 seconds. And it's even more of an indicator than speed. Like, Raynor might be at 600 actions per minute, but I'd say him and Serral are pretty even on screens per minute, which is simply how many different parts of the map you're looking at. And Serral, and I'd imagine Clem, I haven't seen stats on Clem, but maybe I can load it up after, up to 60 screens a minute, which means on average once every second or less he moves his camera, let alone however many hundreds of actions per minute. And he's doing things on each of those. It's not like he's looking around admiring his base. No! So we will see. Alright. But it is best of 5. We're starting on Golden Wall, of all places. Clem is an aggressive, he's a young TERRAN player, which means he's aggressive, he's micro-oriented, but I think, like many TERRAN players, the real breakout performances come when they're not just tied to units that start with M, Marine, Micro, Marauder, Stuttle Step, anything like that. And by the way, Serral uses the Abathur voice pack, and obviously Clem uses the Winter voice pack. We'll see in a moment. Who wouldn't at a match of this level? But Serral understanding that Abathur is obviously the correct choice for ZERGs everywhere. But Clem, early on, I think we'll follow Clem for the early game, as Serral has a tendency to just play defensive, wait for his opponent to make a move, and sometimes, therefore, make a mistake. Also, like, maybe you're not looking necessarily to improve. Maybe you just enjoy watching StarCraft. Now, this is going to take a little more concentration than your average cast. You leave on in the background, and by the time it ends, autoplay has already moved you to the next Loco video, and you didn't even slap a like and subscribe. No. If you actually want to be able to keep up with these players, I know from direct experience, you've got to be watching, and you'll still miss plenty. The Reaper. Just looking, maybe I can snipe a tumor. Clem is so addicted to sniping creep tumors, which is a good addiction to have, of course. Just keeping right on the edge of it. Ever since creep tumors cannot be canceled as of the patch at the beginning of the year. And this was a buff to Hellion Harass just generally, because if a ZERG gets too greedy with their creep tumors, they can't just cancel them right when you commit with your Hellions. If they have a creep tumor building, you have a chance to kill it, which makes it a little bit easier against less diligent ZERGs. Poking in. Viking looking for Overlords. So far, it's just full macro. Well, we see in the production tab. Obviously, the players can't see the production tab. They can't see the supplies and minerals of their opponent. That's for us to try to keep up. But Serral going for a quick Spire, pre-5 minutes. Will Clem be able to figure this out? He went for a quick third command center. He's just now adding on his production. He's not going to have his... It's not NG bays for turrets. He's not going to have the engineering bays for turrets, but the upgrades are still pretty far off because he decided to commit to what is a slightly greedier like 3cc before any other production. +1 starts, more gases. Let's jump, look at the worker count, 50 to 33, or 43 rather, for Clem. So the Spire is completely unscouted. Now this, he's making a turret just blind. How does he know? Does he smell the mutas? How does he know? I mean, it's good due diligence to just build a turret if your opponent doesn't show anything. But, and going for the gold base on Golden Wall, of course. I guess this is just playing it safe. I think when you go 3CCs, you do have to. He's been so active with his Viking that his Viking and his early Reaper Hellion. Oh, those gases just gave it away. Those gases right there. You don't go for gases 5 and 6 with that few drones unless you're going mutas. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe even a couple more turrets added. Oh, oh my God! There's a changeling! Clem, that was actually Clem zooming in to be like, what is wrong with these? Serral put a changeling hidden by the barracks, and it blocked the widow mines from coming out. And Clem had to zoom in and be like, wait, what is wrong with you guys? What a play. But the mutas are a real struggle as well. +1 armor has yet to start. Clem has plenty of gas. He's just making sure he can deal, like, I don't know if he was expecting them this quick. Just having the turrets is a delaying tactic, because mutas, they don't defend mutas. They give you time to move units to defend. Oh, the Hellions just kind of get in. At this point, they've almost... Oh, Serral tries to block with an Evo Chamber. Does pretty well. He's going to lose 5. Well, Clem even using the grenade, but 6 drones is the total. The gold base is still online. Clem, I think the big takeaway here is that his +1 was significantly... His +1 armor is significantly later than it could have been.
Additional supply depots.
Dropping supply, walling off. And but Clem, you'll notice, like, as soon as he gets a solid amount of units together, he's not afraid to go move on the creep. Well, not so much on the creep as on the edge and work on it. Oh, splits back. Just 1 Marine. Banelings deflected for the most part and negated. Minimal damage. And all this. Now, if you're a Terran player, if you're a Diamond Terran player out there, like, wondering, like, my Marine splits are pretty good, look down here, especially during the fights. Down here for what he's doing while the fights are happening, or at least right before and after. That is the difference. It's not what happens necessarily on the screen. I've seen Diamond players with a great micro. Maybe not Clem level, but close. Better than mine. But it's about what else is happening simultaneously. Putting some Widow Mines down. And great-ish splits, and by that I mean just good, just kind of good. Meanwhile, another round of production. More Widow Mines coming up. Still no drilling claws on the way. A second factory. He gets, oh my God, did he have that hotkeyed or did he just jump there? Either way. Micros away. Oh, the pickup! Okay. Oh, that was cutting it. If Serral had manually detonated the Banes, which no one does in that scenario, they would have hit the Marines. That's how close they were.
Upgrade.
Oh my God. And it was perfectly 16 Marines for the medevacs. He's like, I lose 3 and then the rest can pick up and get out. Oh.
Mineral field.
Supplies are even. Clem, I don't think, is going to feel too unhappy with the situation, but of course, he needs to put all his units together in a timely manner. Serral targets down a Widowmine. Another Widowmine going to burrow. That one taken out as well. The Marines going back, but Thor is here, and just in time. These Banelings are off a creep, but the SCVs are going to run to the side. They have an escape path. He moves a command center over. And down goes the tech lab. Was drilling claws denied? Denied. That's a big snipe. Serral went for that specifically, knowing it's a key upgrade. Drilling claws makes it a lot easier to get hits on those Banelings. Still, just keeping control of the creep. He knows there's more than enough units to bite off that small of an attack, but Clem pokes out onto the creep, bites off what he can, and gets away. Oh, a depot burned. What a noob. 2-2 on the way for both sides. More barracks production. It looks like Clem is set on playing this out with the Marine Marauder mine style. And against Mutalisk, the big weakness of Mutalisk against Terran is that you don't have hive tech nearly as quick, because mutas are expensive. They're now I noticed Clem using that same Widowmine spot that the Changeling was in. Gonna try to turn things around with that. Moving forward both sides. We've got a drop towards the north and a smaller drop towards the north. He picks up, moves along. That means a lot of the units and the mutas are already accounted for. The mutas are going back through the turrets. Clem drops into Banelings. A little bit unfortunate there. The Widowmines, he restarts Drilling Claws, but that was a big delay losing it the first time. These players, Serral at 450s, Clem at 350. A lot of that comes from the fact you just building a lot of Zerglings has a tendency to raise your APM, believe it or not. +3, +2 on the way. Hive has started for Serral. Clem doesn't know that yet, but he realizes by how many mutas were made, the Hive shouldn't be coming up unless he's made a huge mistake, which he hasn't. 2-2 is finishing up. Clem is getting close to 200 supply. There's no reason not to keep on the pressure. Meanwhile, the turret trying to get repaired. It's not going to be enough. The muta count is too damn high. The Thor drop looking to box it out.
Depleted. Add-on complete. Upgrade complete.
The gold base still trying to mine. Clem either needs to tech up or put on pressure now. He's maxed out. He's got +3 on the way. It's not going to get any easier from here. This is the best time to put on pressure. As soon as Drilling Claws finishes, Serral negates one Widow Mine. The other, oh my god, perfect splits against the mines. But Clem, targeting down Banes, gets out with the Marines. Meanwhile, the mutas coming in. Clem is barraged on all sides, but he's still holding strong. The mutas are always trying to look for an opportunity. The Lings and Banes trying to break through, but Clem has spread his units well enough. He started 3-3. He's got more command centers on the way. But once again, as time goes on, Serral will have more tech, so he has to eventually get back to the other side of the map. Now this is a little dicey. That's a lot of mutas. He stims forward. The pickup, the reaction time is ridiculously fast. Some of the Marines don't make it. Widowmine shots. He's back at the main, back at the fourth, back at the net. Looking forward, creep, stimming more, bringing reinforcements, Lings and Banes, splits forward, back forth, the Marauders at the back, maybe a little bit of a mistake there, Drilling Claws, re-rally, Drilling Claws, Thors are here, Widowmine shots, mutas, oh, big Widowmine hit, Serral slips, Clem holds. 11 SCVs go down, but the mutas took a big chunk from those Widowmines. Serral's building more. Clem doesn't know exactly how many bases. He can take an educated guess. But he has plenty on his own as well. More Thors. Drop on the north. Lings and Banes already pre-splits. One Widowmine to back it up. He's going to sacrifice a few Marines for the greater good. Good Widowmine hit there. Dropping back. Another Widowmine. Finding a connection. Big hit on the mutas. Loses a medevac, but not a huge deal compared to the muta clump. Clem's holding, but it feels like Serral is starting to grind him down a little bit. I don't think there's been a scan to see. In fact, Clem has never seen Serral's main this entire game. Building armor starts. High sec auto tracking probably up behind. +3. Armor. Oh, a big attack coming in from a lot of angles, but the Widowmines Burrow, he picks up the Thors, he gets out, the Widowmines get good connections, the other Thors stutter stepping back, drops him back down. A lot of Banes and mutas taking big hits here. The Banelings, they don't want to connect on the Thors, but the right click from Serral means that the move command doesn't trigger the Banes. The Thors badly bruised, but they're still here. Clem starting to falter. He doesn't have the momentum. Serral just has too many Zerglings. Now, guns down the Changelings and realize the gateway to the underworld has been opened up on Golden Wall. Finds a base, scans to the south. Now, suddenly, we've unlocked the DLC content. Once you pay enough golden minerals, suddenly, you're fighting on another third of the map that was before unexplored, especially by Terrans. Drops forward. Why walk when you can fly? But to the top left, the mutas coming in. Banelings, just enough, maybe, to deal with this base. Oh, the Planetary's trying to hold on to it. It's not going to be enough. Evacuates the FCVs. Most of them get out. Accidentally lifts all his command centers. No! Oh, the hotkeys were a little messed up, but he's still doing damage on the south. He re-lands them so quickly. Clem, still. He recovers from that instantaneously. The spine crawler, yeah, that's not going to cut it, but the drop's going towards the main. He's trying to drag the mutas all the way back, still doing a good enough job. He's running out of income, though, if he can't reestablish that base. The bases to the south are opened up. Mules are dropping, but Clem is starting to be... He spots another base, and that's not a great feeling. Ultralists are in the production tab. Clem doesn't know yet, but he can have his suspicions if Serral has had all these bases for so long. Meanwhile, to the north, one of those Thors badly bruised, another one at full HP, clearing creep. He's kept it at the halfway mark for most of the game, but it doesn't seem like Serral cares. Another round of Baneling. Serral just has so much! The Thor, though, kind of untouched throughout all of this. Meanwhile, a bunch of Zerglings are coming into the gold base. Clem's already reacting. Another pre-scan. Oh, massive Widowmine hits. Shuts the door on that counterattack. He already re-rallied units to clean up the rest. Serral not going to break through there. Not for now. The mineral wall is still intact on the left side as well. Clem holding on, dropping mules. He's on a pretty temporary economy if he can't do some more damage to Serral here. The income has been in Serral's favor, but now we finally see, with the sniping of so many drones in a base, and also more mules dropping, Clem keeping it up and actually at a slight income advantage now for the first time in a long time. More drilling claws. Oh, Serral not really microing his Banes to split. He runs. That one Baneling really creating a lot of trouble for Clem, but also working up north. More Banelings. Just runs away. The pickup. He gets out. Ultras have arrived. He sees the Chopolisks with that beautiful Broodwar skin, by the way. But that means if the Ultras are to the south, Clem's going to work north. He guns down a Changeling that I didn't even notice, and I have the casting overlay. Meanwhile, this is just an orbital. Banelings are dangerous. He splits the SCVs. He's not going to give up this base for free. Meanwhile, a big Widowmine hit hits both Terran and Zerg alike. The turret trying to hold. It's not going to be enough. Clem still somehow at 177 supply, despite losing so much. He keeps the reinforcement, stutter steps, gets a couple mutas alongside it, but he loses the main chunk of his army. How is his supply still even? Meanwhile, Serral has re-established with an even greater fury his economy. Now Clem finally digging himself out of that hole, but Serral's starting to consolidate his position. Clem is poking and prodding, but he's finding less and less progress that goes unanswered. Still more command centers. A drop towards the main. These drops are mostly just trying to drag the mutas back. Now, a burrow is on the way. Of course, Clem still hasn't seen the main base technically this whole game, but he can make assumptions that it's there. Scans forward. He knows that... Oh, he's just going to place a Widowmine down. What a move.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Ultra is still dangerous, but Ultras aren't as scary as, like, Viper Broodlord. Now, Viper Broodlord, this might not be the scenario for that, but... What I'm trying... Like, Ultras can be microed against. It is not easy, but it is not impossible, especially for someone like Clem, splitting, working around the rocks. The mutas, something's coming to the south. Clem, later reaction, decent Widowmine hits, that base is effectively gone. He's just going to move away. Oh, the mutas cut off and cut down. Gunned out of the sky. Most of them, I don't know what kind of air upgrades. They have +2, +1. SCV is bleeding. Clem keeps clawing back. He's working so goddamn hard right now. Now I'm sure Serral is as well. Both players, 500 APM from Serral, 400 from Clem. Once again, a lot of that is just building Zerglings. Takes a whole lot. There's so many bases that are orbitals. It's a lot of locations. He has to keep putting fires out. Clem scrambles back to defend, but every time he does, that opens up other opportunities for Serral. Clem has to make a dramatic move pretty soon, already preemptively. That's a lot of Ultras there. Clem rushes into the fray. Widowmine's burrow. One Ultra goes down. The Planetary's starting to tank a lot of damage. Splits the Marauders back. Baneling zoning out. The Ultras not really working on the Planetary. Clem holding on, but Serral just has so much. The Ultras are mostly gone. The target fire is good. Widowmine's helping as well. He's still holding. He actually cleans up the Ultras, but at what cost? What? He's lost 41 SCVs. Serral has 90 drones.
Mineral field depleted.
There's one last attack. He has to just send it now. Everyone has to go. He has to do critical damage while somehow not bleeding out completely at home. There's no economy left. His orbitals are burning. He has command centers, but not enough. Oh, that Widow Mine was a prayer. It really needed to hit. Nice Widow Mine there. There's only 2 medevacs working overtime here. You gotta be careful of the mine. Another good hit. Trying to just get down to isolate the Ultras. But Serral hits the north again. Liberator trying to find an opportunity, cues it up. Oh, a main mine connects! Doesn't quite kill the Marauders, but underneath. And Clem just couldn't make enough headway. The Widow Mines burrowed units on both sides. Very effective. But at the end of the day, Serral overwhelmed. Solid game 1. I think we'll get perspective of the Finnisher in the next match. You could see Clem. It just what it felt like was the mutas, even though we kind of prepared for them, were still kind of a surprise. It still felt like the mutas showed up and Clem had to flail for a bit to deal with them, and that gained a lot of momentum. And then, like, you don't give Serral an inch, because if you do, he'll take a meter. But now we'll watch Serral's perspective. Maybe we'll jump around a little more. We'll see. Already sending out overlords, looking specifically for proxies. And this is something you can copy. If you get Wardy's replay pack, like I'm so privileged to have downloaded, because I subscribe to Wardy's channel, and then watch the games for yourself, or the replays. You too. You can slow it down. Like we could take it one step at a time, break it down each build by build, point by point. But sometimes it's good to just watch full speed and realize, oh yeah, I still got a ways to go. Let me enjoy some tape. Verners, please sponsor me. I'm not sure if they even use the internet at Verners. If you're Serral, like, I think it was, well, it was obviously the quicker mutas. Those were quick mutas. It was more like a 2-base economy for the mutas, and then droning up after. They just created so much space. And on Golden Wall specifically, when you have that gold base, which most Terrans will take, because you give a Terran a gold base, and like, they're going for it. They might not lift their main command center anymore, but they will be tempted. So, the simple version I've seen of strategies is like, I'm going to build Ravagers and keep them from getting the gold or something. No, that's a simple-minded version. The mutas obviously work well. It's kind of rare to see mutas so active. The reason you don't see mutas as much nowadays is usually... Is Serral intentionally not getting speed? Is he going to get Overlord speed first? Like, it has to be conscious, right? Like, that he's not getting Zergling speed. If you just make Zergling speed now. Will we get it after the third hatch? He's just not getting it. Okay. Oh my god, Clem. Well, oh, the queen! Take that! Serral had a queen on the high ground, raining down death. Sure, you lost the creep tumor, but you lost your life. It's a roach all in. It's a Ravager attack. There's no speed follow-up either. So this looks to be... it's roaches or Ravagers. I'm not sure yet. He has built a pretty healthy amount of drones. Like, not a lot, but... Killing that Reaper, I think the Roach one I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Roach Horn started right after he killed the Reaper. Because when there's no Reaper, it's very simplistic. Like, oh, you lost the Reaper? You can't scout this. Okay, Roach Holland. I don't... Classic Serral. 9 roaches on the way. Does he make any Ravagers, or is it just going to be all-out roaches? Yep. Okay. His gas has been spent, and now the drones will begin. He's already... This is a designated pressure. A macro cheese. Oh, he's boxing out the Hellions. Clem, kind of blind without his Reaper. Like, this could be very effective. There's a Banshee on the way. Of course, Serral doesn't know that. He didn't scout at all. The roaches show up. Now, of course, Clem, the alarm bells are ringing. But will there be enough time? If those were the first roaches, that bunker might save him. But those are not the first roaches. Right now, Clem has to put together a pretty miraculous defense. That's the only bunker we can see. Roaches and Ravagers. And behind this, Serral's already even on workers, by the way. Oh my, he just gets through the depot. Corrosive Bile, no cloak for you. Now that doesn't really matter against the Banshee for Ravagers, but down goes the cloak. Does he just win? Is it that simple? You lose your Reaper, you lose the game? It's not that simple, but it's pretty close. Like, this is too much damage. Serral's already droning. Like, he's been droning. He's way ahead. He's ridiculous. Like, and there's nothing here that's that scary. Get the Marauder. You got the Marauder. And another Hellion. Serral's at 54 to 30 drowns. His lair's halfway done. Started Zergling speed. Still has plenty of queens. Creep spread already started. He's just... Now, I mean, Clem is quite a micro player. But what is a redeeming quality here? 3 command centers. Okay. Okay, wait, hold. When a Terran player has 3 orbitals, they're never out of the game. Never. I mean, they might be dead, but they will not leave. If Clem was on 2 orbitals and he did this, well, then he would be out of the game. The Hellions looking for some opportunities. They'll get 1 kill. Serral tries to do a block. 3 kills total right now. It's now 60 drones to 43. Clem is bouncing back fast. Serral has to expect this. He saw the 3rd command center. So, I don't think Serral's going to get too particularly greedy, because he knows Clem already had more production coming up. Oh my. That Hellion is doing surprisingly well for itself. Oh, 1 more hit, maybe? Like, it's being super annoying. On top of... Oh my god, Clem. Calm. Oh my god. Clem will not chill. I will not chill. Kills 8 drones. Like... Well, there's no cloak on that Banshee. That's unfortunate. At the end of the day. Serral still... The attack was... devastating. It should lead into a very tough position for Clem. If Clem is able to dig himself out of that, I would be very impressed and also surprised. But Serral is going for roaches. I mean, he started with roaches. Of course, a follow-up of roaches is obvious. Reaching for anything else on lair tech runs the risk of not really coming online before an attack comes across. Like if you go Hydras, you might not have the upgrades. Banelings with speed are still pretty far out. So the obvious play is roaches and Ravagers. Brute force. The simple solution. I'm gonna work the drops, as you might expect. Spots another drop coming in. Right on the edge of the creep. Wait. Yeah. There are 3 things moving across the map kind of slowly. I don't know if those are overlords or queens. We're gonna find out in a moment. Amanda! What are you doing?
Mineral cluster.
I mean, Clem's not... Oh, never mind. Serral's a genius. The queens were already halfway across the map when he was defending. Oh wait, no, never mind. This was poorly thought out. Or was it? It's unclear. The Queens walked directly across the map, up a ramp into tanks, which is not ideal. Clem using the barracks as a semi-wall. The tank shots are kind of raining in. A tactical goof on a factory, delaying tank production. Well, in this case, it's Widow Mines, but either way. Serral doesn't... He has 66 drones. He's got to get damage done. Like, this is not a high-value unit composition. This is brute force. You overwhelm them with cheap units. If you can't do that, eventually the Terran army gets way better than you, and Clem shows no fear in the face of corrosive bile. Serral is starting to scramble a little bit. He does pull back with the Queen hit squad. The follow-up all-out roach attack off of like 66 drones did not pan out. So now Serral has to saturate his fourth base. He's sitting on 68 drones against 61 SCVs. The 2-2 upgrades, he doesn't know for sure. He knows that Clem has 1-1. He has to assume 2-2's on time. So there's not really an advantage there either. Spore Crawlers are coming in. He does not have a great unit composition. He's about to max out. He's about to reach his peak strength. Because if he has to go back for too long, and he agrees, then that's how you lose. Because this Terran army is going to be he just walks into his natural. He's going for it. Triple corrosive bow, massive concave of Marines. Clem only committed a singular drop out on the map. That's still a lot of roaches and ravagers. The drop still looking for an angle. Clem poking in. Serral defending. He's got the... It's really a scramble. Because the higher Clem's... He's trying to trade. And if he can trade semi-evenly, not even that efficiently, he's got to keep Clem from getting maxed out. Because if Clem is maxed out, his army just wins. And that's what we're seeing here. Holding his ground is Clem, but the Roaches and Ravagers desperately have to whittle down this army. They have to keep him on the other side of the map. They can't let drops come across. Even if it means losing more Roach Ravager than you probably should. Like, there's nothing else. There's no infestation pit. Drops are slowly chipping away at him on the other side. Serral has to figure out a solution. The clock is running out on this. 2-2 is done. He wants to strike before, ideally, Clem has it. This is the timing. Clem doesn't have 2-2. He's really working this for everything he's got. The siege tanks, Widow Mines trying to get involved. More siege tanks on the high ground, blasting through. +2's about to finish for Clem. Is it going to be enough? He retreats behind his barracks and then stims back out. Still a whole lot of Roach Ravager. Clem behind the lines. Is there enough? The medevac count is high, but he's starting to lose all his units. The boys are pulled! He used corrosive biles on the orbital command, but that might have been a mistake. Has to scramble back and deal with it. The boys holding the line. Clem stims forward. The stutter step is incredible. 20 SCVs do go down. Clem targeting down drones. More units gonna fall. Serral still at 150. Clem at 100. More corrosive bile underneath. The orbital command kind of obscures the units. It's unclear how many Marines are down there. 140 to 109. The worker count is 65 to 46. Clem is still on the chase. Only 3 Ravagers left over. The Queens are chasing. The Queens are off a creep, but they're full of anger. So, at the end of the day, a trade. I think...
Under attack.
I still think Clem got a slightly better... Because Clem held. And he's got 3-3 on the way. He kept his orbitals. He lost a lot of SCVs, but he still has all these medevacs. The question is how many tanks he still has left. Does Serral have overwhelming forces? Like, the fact that these tanks are kind of exposed is a problem. But those medevacs, he dodges out. The corrosive bows actually hit the medevacs. Maybe, it appears I was completely wrong. Serral finds the timing, brings the hammer down, and ties it up. Clem almost holds, just a little bit too forward. That first attack, honestly, I thought there was a chance he might GG. Shows what I know. Clem was, honestly, Serral going for, did you see, his 2-2 was finishing as he moved in for the attack. And for the first 10 seconds to 15 seconds of the attack, like the big attack, he had an upgrade advantage. If he had moved 10 seconds later, that's non-existent. If Clem is even on upgrades when that fight starts and the majority of units are fighting each other, it probably looks very different. Oh my god. Did it say... Jimmy! Do you not know the difference between Serral and Clem? God. Amateurs. We'll start out with Clem this time. I think we're going to flip around. Now we've gotten a taste of both these players. But we want more. Just like more Werners. Werners. Hit me up. Well, I mean, this is also a Red Bull weekly StarCraft tournament, so also that. Werners and Red Bull. Both. I'll take both. I don't think they have overlapping market shares.
Additional supply depots.
Thank you to Red Bull. And Wardy. Isn't that 2-0? Oh my god. Why did I think Clem won? Oh, it doesn't tie it up. What is wrong with me? Everybody, the only, like, you know who gets a clean sweep in this series? The fans. The fans. So, that's my bad. What are we gonna see this time? Serral, like, I'm pretty convinced that entire strategy came down to killing the Reaper. He may have done it just by zoning out the Reaper and having that queen on the high ground, but I think a significant percentage of the commitment was because he killed the Reaper. Because you're not going to scan, like, with your first orbital, with your first energy. No, of course not. It just hit that sharp timing right before Hellions were actually coming across the map, because the Reaper died so early. Clem, well, let me do the math here. On a best of 5. Now, if we crunch the numbers, that means Clem has to win 3 games in a row against Serral. So that is a tall order. He loves his Reaper micro. Don't be inspired by this Diamond players. I've seen too much that isn't like this. Yes, he did literally lose the Reaper last time, but that was Serral being very clever. If he loses it again, then I'm just going to look dumb, but still. He checks for the inject. It's important to check what that queen is doing with her first energy. She has enough energy for either a creep tumor or an inject. Those are the options. And most players will go for the creep tumor, which does potentially give you an opportunity to snipe the creep tumor with a Reaper, especially if they're being lazy about it. But Serral opts for the inject first. He's looking for the tumors here. Brenda, why are you here? Wait, who am I in that? That's the queen talking to the Reaper. Though she may not understand the meta. What a noob. Meanwhile, another one. An armory. For Thor drop. Hellbat push. But what if he did? What if he did Thor drop? Oh, he would probably lose horribly. Because that's countered by like 3 queens and 12 ZERG. But a Hellbat push. Another thing, like, if it hasn't been scouted, it really does depend on the execution. A baneling nest begins, but the armory, this is a quick armory. This is pre-3CC. A lot of players will go for the 3 command centers. And then add on the armory as, like, a sort of pressure. No. This is not a 2-base all-in, but it definitely is a big commitment. This needs to do some damage. Serral going with a quick spire again. Of course, this is not known to Clem. He's committed to this attack. Meanwhile, the armory is done on the exact edge of the creep before the baneling nest is complete. The queens immediately retreat. Already more Lings were coming out, but against a Medevac and Hellbats, it's going to be a tough time. Picks up one Hellbat, saves it. The Queen's working on the Medevac. Microing back towards the high ground, spots the Spire, but the Hellbats are doing a lot of damage here. If you hit the Medevac, you ain't hitting the bats. And that, what? Okay, yep. Well, all right, that's a good start. If you're, well, Clem just stays in the game for a bit to chill. Serral had nothing. He had nothing. He lost all his queens. Spire's halfway done. Like just a minute quicker than your average Hellbat attack. So, Serral, like, just get me into the next game, okay? I deserve that one after the Rochelle. All right. Just let's move along. Come on. Next game. Load it up, lobby. But no. As Jimmy neglected to realize, it's actually match point. So that means, since we're professionals here, a quick advertisement, and then we'll be right back. Thank you, guys. Welcome, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to say thank you to Wardy for being in all of these games and getting replay files, which you, for the low price of $5 a month, can subscribe to Wardy and then get all the replays. And then cast them, if you're into that. So, but if you're into my casting of Wardy's replays, then like and subscribe and leave a comment about Winter. Nice. Thank you guys for sticking around. So that, that was pretty one-sided. Considering he walked up to him and killed him, I would say that's about as one-sided as a Mobius strip there. And Serral just not having anything. The Greedy Spire got to him this time. I think it worked on Golden Wall because it was game 1 and it was Golden Wall, but Clem bites back. Eternal Empire. This is the map. Like, this is the epic macro game map. This is like the bases are so far apart. There are so many of them. There's like rich Vespine bases, but a lot of them are on a high ground, pretty tucked away from your opponent. Unless there's some sort of early all-in, like a Proxy Rax, obviously, or Roach all-in. If we get past like the 5-minute mark with no serious aggression, I wouldn't be surprised to see 15, 20 plus minutes. So buckle up. Or not. We'll see. So far, it hasn't really been cheesy. Like, I wouldn't call the quick armory a cheese if he had, like, gone pulled SCVs or cut building SCVs. No. I think that was just Clem, like, I want to put a lot of pressure on you, which also doubles as scouting because you have to show everything you have to defend something like that. And then from there, I can kind of tailor my response. But every once in a while, the Hellbats walk up and your house burns down. Not that fun. We haven't seen any mech. I don't know, like, Clem is so good at bio. He's so good at bio that feels like a waste of his talents to play mech. Am I saying mech is lower APM and relative skill cap? I mean, kind of. But he just really... The big weakness... Oh my god. Cheeky boy. I'll talk about that in a second. But the big weakness of bio is usually that it's almost impossible to control so many fronts at once. Like, your units are so fragile and need to be so active that a lot of players struggle. Like, you make 1 or 2 mistakes and then game's over. Oh my god. The Grim Reaper has arrived. Well, I mean,
is under attack.
SCV ready. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Wait, there's a second Reaper? What I was gonna say is Clem is so good at controlling his units that he's one of the few players who might not qualify for that. Did he, like, was it a real mind? Did he build that intentionally?
Base is under.
I guess it's part of the NG Bay blocking. So the reason why NG Bay blocking is more effective on this map than others is because there's no choice of a third base. I'm gonna take the camera for a sec, but this base over here, that is not nearly as much of a choice of a third base. Like on Nightshade or Everdream, you can kind of pick the other base. It's not a big difference. But on Eternal Empire, that is your third, and if it is blocked, you have to remove that block. Unless you want to start playing kind of weird and awkward and possibly vulnerable. So that is why you'll see it more often on maps like this. A Lair's on the way. Lair? Okay, Serral has definitely adjusted his style. I'm gonna jump over. That didn't work. I was trying to do a smooth transition. All right, we're watching Clem. Wait for it.
Add-on complete.
Now to Serral. Getting a main nest. Spire starts again. He's leaning on it. I don't know if... I think the main nest is a little earlier than last game, though I wasn't paying close attention. Either he doesn't expect there to be another hell battle in, or he's now comfortable defending it. Gets into the main. Spots nothing out of the ordinary. Stim is upgrading. Another barracks being built. Third command center. Serral knows everything he needs to. It's time for the Evo chambers. Am I right, Serral? Am I right about those Evo chambers? Because the obvious thing to do next is get upgrades. Because we're going to the macro here. Serral, why won't you talk to me? Serral, please. Serral doesn't love me anymore. And he also doesn't love upgrades because he hasn't gotten evolution chambers. That's actually concerning. Like, I feel, yeah, cute with the creep tumors, but like, the upgrades, you don't really want to be significantly behind. He's really going to lean on these mutas, I guess. But now Clem has started his 1-1. I'm getting a little concerned. Like, are you gonna do an unupgraded Mutaling Bane all-in with no Bane speed? He really wants as many mutas as possible. That's the situation. Oh, those Hellions. The grenade kind of makes things weird, but it looks like the Hellions mostly will be whittled down. I'm not sure if that was an untenable amount of Zerglings. He still has plenty left over. The mutas come out. Still no upgrades. He's really going, like, he's going mutas. He's not just going mutas. He's going mutas. Very different. Because there's no Evo chambers. He's building him at his third. Okay, like, I mean, that helps wall off, but that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, whenever people build, even the engineering bays at the front, I feel are risky sometimes. Like, what if he pushes you and snipes the Evo well, whatever. Well, the muta's gonna get work done. It seems to have paid off thus far. There weren't really any turrets. There's no turret in the main. He gets hit with a Widow Mine, but already the damage is being dealt. The muta's doing... Well, let's look at the worker count. Yeah, Serral's at 66 drones. The creep spread is good. In fact, supplemented by the Overlord creep drops. Serral is going mutas. Oh my god. He's really committed. Every single last ounce of gas, besides upgrades, has gone into Mutalisk. Gonna get Overlord speed for probably Overseers to be able to help with Widow Mines. The Armory is a little late, but he spots... Oh, wow, wow, did you see the Widow Mine? Serral did. So the Armory is spotted as well. He spots the Armory, he gets a good judge of the 2-2 timing. So that means Clem's probably going to be a little ahead, but the Armory is mildly late. So the upgrade gap should be able to close a little bit. The Muta's just sitting, like, he's everywhere. There's also a drop on the side. Like I keep forgetting I have to commentate because I'm trying to just keep up with what he's doing. I mean, we could just watch, but then what's the point of me? I gotta make myself useful. Meanwhile, I'm gonna try to snipe. One medevac gets one. Looking for the Viking. Easy pickings. Baneling speed is done. 1-1, still pretty far off. Those Banelings in a pretty precarious position. Clem is knocking on the door. Liberator starting to help. One Widow Mine goes down. There's just not that many Banelings here to deal with this. And if you don't have enough Banelings, Clem will tear you apart. But the Banelings into the third. Big hit. 10 SCVs go down. But Clem guns down any Banelings that come before him. Down goes the fourth base. More significant damage there. Trying to take another one. Serral has to scramble to deal with this. The Widow Mines are dangerous. 1-1 is finishing up. Clem didn't start his 2-2. Something to point out. He was very focused on this attack, so that upgrade advantage, that allowed him to get the fourth. But nobody's starting their 2-2. There's so much going on. Alright, Serral sneaks in his +2 melee. And yes, because of the way the units interact, Marines just, like... Fights can snowball very quickly. Because if the Marines and Marauders have enough upgrades, then the Mutas and Banelings don't do enough damage, and they stand their ground, and Medevacs heal them, and it starts to get out of control. Whereas for the Zerg player, if they have the upgrade advantage, it's a lot easier to rely on just Ling Bane as opposed to having your Mutas with you during a major fight. So that way your Mutas can be on the other side of the map, while your Ling Bane defends you against the ground army, at least for a time. Oh my god, the Mutas are here. I don't think Clem expected that. He definitely didn't. Oh, but the bait! He drags the mines. Oh, there's a lot more Marines. Serral has to scamper back.
Command unacceptable.
The next round, the stakes are raised, and so are the supplies. He realizes if there's nothing here, it's probably going to the south. There's no base there. Clem finds a better objective. Lings and Banes. Muta's looking for an opportunity, but Clem gives him no quarter. Not even a dime. So far, the Banelings not finding the greatest connection. Banelings from the back, also not doing great. Muta's trying to cut off reinforcements. The Lings and Banes are not enough to deal with this. So much Terran, and while the reinforcements will be whittled down, Serral has a base on the other side. He's playing a very mobile Zerg here, but the Evo Chambers are at the third, remember? The Evo Chambers, the upgrades. Oh, regret. Regret. If those Marines take the Evo Chambers, this could be a disaster for Serral. Why? Oh, he targets, oh my god, he just gunned down aimbot. He has aimbot. He gets +2 attack! Meanwhile, a single Widow Mine connects. It hit! So while, oh my god, the Marines, the transfuse helps. +2 Carapace will finish, but okay, let this be a lesson about building your Evo Chambers at your third, or your forges, or your NG bays. What was going to be a slight advantage for Serral is now advantage to Clem, on top of the fact, and especially because Clem has been so successfully and constantly pressuring. Clem, as soon as he realizes, like, why didn't Serral fight me on that base? He realizes that the reason is because he has another base. And now Serral can intuit. It's pretty simple, like, Clem's going to hit it. Clem, on the mini-map, you saw a couple units there, and now he definitely knows. Already just clearing this area, realizing there's probably no counter drop, so might want to consolidate forces. Drilling Claws makes things very difficult. Serral is struggling right now against Clem. Oh, the Banelings. What happened? No! What? The Banelings just ran. Oh, wait, those are Zerglings. They ran through the third. I had to look. Meanwhile, that base is down. That's the fourth. That has fallen to Clem's relentless attack. Serral still has kept it together. But Clem is starting to really consolidate. He has 2-2 done. He's going for a fourth command center. The Mutas dart into the main, and Clem is uncharacteristically off the map, but splash damage coming in from both the Thor and the Widow Mine. They fly to safety, but is it safe? There's no recall for them. Clem is boxing. He's cornered the Mutas. Oh, the Lings have to come to save them. Serral's been cornered. Where are they gonna go? Oh, he drags out. Oh my god, he can't get out. He wants to make a run for it, or a flight. But the Banelings are coming to try to escape by slamming into one side. Serral, his evacuation is on the way! Meanwhile, all the Banelings, they split, and they cover for the Muta escape! What a dramatic story. Just barely, and I feel like there were about to be Thors in position. Oh no! But the parting hits of the Widow Mines.
Mineral field depleted.
Oh, Drilling Claws drops. Oh. Hitting some drones. Watch out, watch out! Oh, that Widow Mine would have killed a few mutas, at least. Clem is making him work for it. Serral scrambling. It still feels like Serral has not had nearly the space to go for Hive. Clem just now started his 3-3. This game has been high action, high intensity. Every unit precious. Every fight a couple moments away from disaster from either side. The mutas can die in seconds, and so can the Marines. Like, these are fragile armies, but also very strong when used well. The mutas trying to find an angle to fight. Serral's still even on supply. Counterattack into the third. He's just letting it go. It looks like the reinforcements are headed here. SCVs are going to die. He has to pull off of another base, but he has one to the south. More Widow Mines are coming up to defend. Marines, Marauders, Thors. Still, he's going to rotate around. Serral playing such a mobile, flexible style by having these multiple bases, but there's only so many times you can retreat. Eventually, bases start to mine out. Gonna try to negate some of the Widow Mines. The Widow Mine hits. Not terrible. Oh, those ones were! The mutas! Big chunk taken out. The rest badly bruised, morally and physically. Thors holding their ground. There's still plenty of Marines. Banelings rolling through, making him take maximum hits to do the damage. The Medivacs boost back. The Marine splits like this is an arcade map. The Thor holding its ground. Clem is closing in. The muta count has been whittled down to 10. That's not even enough to one-shot Widow Mines. A couple more go down. Clem just laying on the pressure. Oh, he's got the aimbots are back. Clem guns down all of the Banelings. And while he's pushed back, and a tiny counterattack comes across, Serral, that one hurt. That one hurt. That was real damage there. Between the mutas, the forward base, this happening, G, 3 Gs. That's how good that game was. Clem just puts Serral to the grindstone with the sharpest play. And okay. Now, I don't want to blame it all on the Evo Chambers at the third, but they're definitely, they're at least an accessory to that murder. Serral just never found, it feels like Clem adapted from game 1, and also, important, he didn't go for the quick 3cc, not as quick, like he got still his starport before the 3rd CC. It wasn't just straight to 3cc. You could feel, like, I think that game really demonstrated from both sides, like with first person cast. I find, like, it can be more intense, obviously, but while that might be an exciting match to watch from a normal observer perspective, tell me that wasn't also ridiculous from a, you could feel the pressure on Serral. Just constantly, you could see him try to just clear different angles and try to buy him space, some time. But there was never enough time. Yeah, the thing about it, while we can't, the reason we can't see the mouse cursor, which would be the only addition, is because replays are actually saved as a form of text file. So, that mean that the mouse cursor clicks. It's just things that are selected. So essentially, we're just seeing the meaningful actions that players are doing. You can see what they're selecting, what they're moving, where they're moving it, where their screen is. Oh yeah, by the way, match point between, well, possibly the best player in the history of StarCraft, Serral. There's an argument to be made depending on how wide you want to make the metric. And also, the top-tier Frenchman who it feels like he's really come into his own, and this might be partially thanks to the circumstances with the defilers spreading their plague.
SCV ready.
All tournaments are played online. Some players have trouble, especially with less experience, and younger players with live events. So like there's more nerves, maybe your setup isn't perfect, but since everything, even these like top tier Red Bull tournaments, thank you Red Bull and Verner's, sponsor me, is played online, you're playing on your home setup which you're most comfortable with. And Clem has been killing it. And he's one game away, like, not just, hopefully when we go back to live events he can translate that, but not just like going toe-to-toe with Serral. He was down 2-0.
Command center upgrade complete.
And now, like, that last game was his best game of the series. He's not feeling more pressure. He's laying it on Serral. Those Baneling targets, like, there are so many of them, it's easy to miss. It literally looks like an aimbot, like you have a script that just, when a Terran does it perfectly, it looks like you have a script that just automatically target Banelings. And that script is called practice. That was, I could almost feel Serral when the Banelings are rolling in. He's like, 7 Banelings is probably enough, right? And then the Banelings just get deleted. I'd have to imagine either that's an eye-opener or an inner sigh. Maybe a little bit of both at the same time. Like, oh, God. Oh, no. And imagine when those Banelings have 5 less HP in the next patch. Which is probably 1 less Marine hit. But oh, you shall not. Okay, well, you'll just go around. Why don't we just go around, guys?
Add-on complete.
I'm gonna try to flip back and forth in this game, though. Like, once you get into it from one perspective, it's really hard. Whatever. Did you know that GSL on YouTube has first-person perspectives of all the GSL players while they're playing, and you can watch them? Nobody knows that, so usually, like last time I watched was TY. That stream had like 80 viewers. But, so you can watch both GSL, and you might be like, Winter, where? I don't have the link right now, and I'll probably forget by the time this has a description. But it exists somewhere. Why is there a Reaper and a Hellion here? Oh my god. 4 kills. He just kind of decided, I guess I'm running in this time. It's gonna be bio again from Clem.
Additional supply depots required.
Bio every game. Like, sometimes I question it. What I do question as well is Serral relying on the mutas so much. Like, he's gone Spire in every game where he didn't do a Roach all-in. So, this game, it looks like it's going to be +1 Carapace to start. Does he have a lair? No. Clem's going into, like, this is just straight up standard. He's starting to remind me a little of Innovation. I don't know how to say it, but, like, his play, it feels, now Innovation is a robot, as we all know, like, near perfect mechanics, like, rigid builds. Clem's play definitely feels like more alive than Innovation's. Not the GSL player, but like just his style and how he moves his units and how he's obviously invested in certain things. But the mechanics and the execution feel a lot like Innovation. Liberator finds some damage. The creep spread's starting to get a little concerning here. It's definitely something, like, Clem's been trying, but he did lose the Reaper in the first 2 Hellions. Traded to an extent, but We will see. Does he go for... This is... Do I go? Does he not have lanes? Of course Serral... Like, he's assuming Serral has lanes. This is the scenario, like, you have to respect your opponent. There is no reason to dart in assuming he doesn't have lanes, because Serral's going to have lanes, even if he hasn't seen the lanes. The fact that there's a 4th base on the way right now, Serral is getting very greedy with this match. I don't know what you expected there, but... He's at 60 drones. Lair's pretty late, but that means the upgrades are in a timely manner. Clem, oh my god, okay. I like, looked away / zoned out for a second, and I almost lost track of what was happening.
This better be good.
Ready for dust off.
Armory starting a little preemptively, even. It's like, I need every last unit in this attack. I mean, it's going to be a Marine tank push. Why not? It's worked thus far. Marine tank push is coming across. Let's go to the Serral cam. What is he up to? He understands. Oh my god. Baneling speed is not even started, let alone done. That means the Banelings don't have that extra 5 HP either. He is on creep. Gonna go for the surround. Clem looking for an opportunity. Oh, a slick pickup, but the +1 Carapace gonna help out. Oh, Clem. Clem's holding his ground. Back to Clem. Liberator being queued up. 4th base under pressure again. Deja vu. Tank. 1 tank survived this. The creep has been pushed back to the hatch. It's just Queens now doing their absolute best, but the Marines are starting to gun them down. More Lings coming up. The friendly fire of the tank's drawn in, but it looks like he's targeted the Queen specifically for the center mass. Gets a Hellbat in there. Some more hits. Clem maximizing his damage, but losing his medevac. Another attack coming out, but what does Serral decide to do?
Mineral cluster.
Another hatchery on the way, going for a 5th. He held on to his 4th this time. Now he's not going Mutas. He's not going Hydras. He's not going Baneling speed. He really needs Baneling speed. That is a mistake. That is straight up a mistake. Find your Baneling nest. Click the Baneling speed button. I can't believe he hasn't noticed thus far. Like, you have to know. Like, look at your Banelings. Look at them, Serral. Look them in the eye and tell them why you hate them. You tell them that, or you get Baneling speed. I don't understand. This is a big... This is almost on par. It's worse than forgetting combat shields as Terran, in my opinion. Because right now, that +5 HP and speed is everything. Like, it's not like he doesn't have the money. This is, like, I bet Clem's wondering when it's coming, too. Serral. Serral. There it is. Oh my god. A rare mistake of this level, but a significant one. That means another solid minute where he has to worry about these attacks doing way more damage than they should. Yeah, the creep spread is good. The upgrades are good. The drone count is good. But he's going to have to scramble to defend, and very inefficiently as well. Go back to TERRAN. Clem taking over. He's trying to... There's so much creep. There's so much creep. For Clem, even without the Baneling speed, this is very intimidating. He's really trying to work on both sides. Still, darting into the creep. I don't know if he saw the hive on the way, but he's heading back, getting a 4th base. Serral's already on a 5th. Or about to be on a 5th, at the very least. That tank gonna have a bad day. Another drop heading in. He really wants to clear this creep. It's gonna be so hard that when he finally brings his army out, he can't wait for the creep to recede. He needs it to be gone already. And that's what these drops are for. 2-2. Oh, the pickup was a little off the mark, but gets most of them out. 2-2's about to finish up. And now Clem has to make a decision. He's nearly maxed out. He's doing a good job thus far. What does he do about this, though? That's a whole lot of Serral out there. The stim. Another one in the natural. That he cleared a little bit of creep there, and guess what? Now he's going to use that lack of vision, but Serral already has plenty of units at home. Oh, that's a lot of Marines to be clustered. Drilling Claws done. Oh, the Baneling's not even getting close. And back to our ZERG hero. Still dealing with the drops. Hive is done. What's it gonna be? Adrenal Glands. The drop in the main. Still holding strongly on both fronts. 2 Vipers on the way. Parasitic Bomb. Blinding Cloud. Maybe even Abduct for the tank. Viper's a strong choice because they definitely... Well, they hit the field the quickest. Ultra's gonna take a while. Spire hasn't been built, so Broodlords are out. Upgrades and Vipers are really all you have right now in a game like this. Oh, that's quite a choke point there. Wait, did somebody mine that? I don't know if it was Serral or Clem, but anyways, there's a drop on the top left. Still pressure coming in the bottom right. Clem is everywhere, and Serral is scrambling. Will Clem be able to keep it up? He still hasn't killed a base. He's threatening both the north and the south. Serral boxing out. He's going to put those tanks into a pretty nasty position they wouldn't be able to get to by just driving there. The siege tanks just jammed up against the mineral patches, creating a choke point and giving him more range into the base. Ultra Cavern starts. +3-0 for Serral. Clem starting to try to target. Banelings not running into the tanks, but Clem continues sending out armies. He's still at 200. Serral can't max out. He's struggling. The Vipers, though! Blinding Cloud gonna get a base almost incidentally here. More mainlings are finishing. Does Serral have what it takes to deal with this attack? A drop in the main. He's plummeting in supply. 165, and he can't keep it going. He's about to lose his 5th base. There's no alternative here. His 4th is obviously right there as well. The rest of the units have to go north. The drops have been cleaned up, or have they? He doesn't know how many units are still in the medevac, because so much is going on right now. Clem is still maxed. He's got a 4th. Widow Mines connect. Huge hits. Another one. Another big Widow Mine. He picks up. He gets out. Clem carves out a 40 supply lead while still having 3 command centers in production. 3-3 finishing. He is in pole position to win this series with a reverse sweep. It's not over yet. The Ultralisk Cavern is done. The 3-3 hasn't started. The thing is, like, Serral his unit composition doesn't get much better than this. Even Ultras aren't really going to increase the effectiveness significantly. The units are not here. He doesn't have the army. Serral's scrambling, but Clem will not let up. He doesn't give up. He's tearing through everything right now. Pulls back with a relatively solid split. He's still got the drop to the north. The parasitic bomb negated instantaneously. More Widow Mines moving forward. And why would you stop? Brings everything back. He's maxed. Gonna reallocate forces to every front for one last push.
Your forces are under attack. Mineral field depleted.
Another starport.
Upgrade complete.
Serral's can't even get over 150 supply. Clem knows he's doing well right now. He's just got to keep the pressure on. Serral's just building Lings and Banes with worse upgrades. It doesn't get better from here. There's not enough. You don't beat this army, especially not when Clem is controlling it. Maybe if Clem handed it to, like, his little brother or something, and also made him play with a controller, there'd be a chance. But no, this is not nearly enough. Not nearly enough Banes. The spread, I can't believe it's not butter. Parasitic Bomb, so many command centers. Sure, Clem loses a fight, but the war is still going heavily into his favor. And in fact, he didn't actually lose the fight. He just delayed the inevitable. The Vipers trying their best, but their best is not nearly good enough. Clem wants it. He's so close. He's got everything. He's got 10 command centers. He's still nearly maxed. More starports. Dropping down even more command centers. He knows he's here. He knows he's got this. Just one last attack. Serral is bleeding out. It's time to finish him.
Mineral field
He just slaps down another command center because why not? He's got the money. He's relatively maxed. The Widow Mines open up. What are you going to do? Serral drops a parasitic bomb. Why do you think that's going to help, Serral? Well, what are you going to do? Blinding Cloud isn't great against Bile or Widow Mines. Another Drilling Claws drop. The damage adds up. The only reason this game isn't over is because Serral is Serral. But another Widow Mine. That one taken out. That one gets its damage done. But just as this attack maybe is kind of pushed back, guess what? Here comes Clem again! Another hit! Down goes the base! Some drones as well. Serral running out of options and running out of real estate and running out of games to lose. As Clem takes it 3-2. 3 in a row against Serral. There was no gimmick. There was no cheese. Even that Hellbat all-in was not all-in. A foreign Terran hope? Wouldn't that be a special thing? Well, that was a great series. A lot of food for thought. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you to Wardy and Red Bull for those matches. If you enjoyed, check out Wardy and check out Red Bull. They're doing weekly tournaments as well. If you enjoyed me yelling over. And also, I do like the feedback on the first person. I think I've gotten pretty good about not making it too disorienting, but I think it's intense. Not for every game, but occasionally. It's fun to get a look behind the keyboard that will probably need to be replaced pretty quick as they beat it into submission. Thank you for watching. Good luck, and have fun.